Oh man, hang on.
I've been muted this whole time. That's hilarious. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
there we go. Okay, yeah, I can hear you now.
Wait, but I can't hear you. Are you? Oh gosh, is it?
Oh no. Um,
Can you hear? All right,
How's
can you
that?
hear me? Yes, we are good. Can you
Yeah.
hear? We, we,
Sorry,
we,
I had to
we,
kill my headphones.
oh, it is all good. It is all good. How are you doing, sir? How's your day
Good, man.
going?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm just enjoying this, like, honestly, as of this week, this new little live streaming thing that I've been doing. It's kind of fun. Got great founders coming on talking about
Nice.
their companies and get to highlight them and create some cool media. So I'm stoked to have you on.
Love it. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, 100%. By the way, that is that shirt is sick. Like your freaking logo
Oh,
is that is badass. I like it a
thanks,
lot.
man. We
Well,
got our UGV product logo.
oh, let's go. Let's go. Well, let's not keep the people waiting any longer who are wondering what you're cranking on with such a beautiful logo. Let's start with just like, yeah, what do you feel free to intro yourself
Yeah.
briefly and feel free to share like what you're cranking on.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so we're Crow Industries. We develop intelligent robotic ground vehicles for battlefield and industrial operations. So think like everything from like U.S. and allied defense operations to mine sites. And the long-term big vision of the company is that we build out this really impressive tech stack of all these like intelligent ground robots to then industrialize like the moon and Mars.
I love that. That's like ambitious as hell. I love to hear that. How
Yeah.
did you walk me through like a little bit of how you got there? Like, what's the origin story here? Why did you decide you wanted to work on this? And then I know you are in a period where you're looking to grow the team, so we will cover a bit on that as well, so people know how to join this ambitious mission.
Yeah, sure. So it's honestly been like a lifelong obsession. Like I started from like 5 years old. Like I've been obsessed with space, and was just basically frustrated that my life was not Star Wars. So that was just like, I wanted to be an astronaut all growing up. I was just a nerdy space kid all through high school, and then I studied Earth and space exploration at ASU, and then worked at NASA for a few years developing instruments and robots to explore Earth-based extreme environments, so like the North and South Pole, volcanoes, deep sea, and then I also worked on like 4 lunar missions and a Martian mission. So space has just always been my big passion. And even those Earth-based expeditions, we were mostly doing like Earth analog expeditions. So like find a place on Earth that looks like somewhere or behaves like somewhere else in the solar system, so you can figure out how to operate there. And so that was just me, like basically accumulating a skill set to build out this long-term vision. Because I came up with the idea for Crow Industries when I was like 11, and so it's just like been a lifelong thing. So it's not like a typical founder who like wanted to just kind of like I don't know, build out a company and cycle into the next one. I'm very much like this is a lifelong passion project for me. So
I think what people call you is a missionary. You're going after a mission versus a
yeah,
mercenary, which just goes after opportunity without having conviction in one.
yeah, for sure.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, it's like what's cool is that you're like a missionary in something that you actually, based on what you've shared, are like qualified to build. Like you're back, you working at NASA. That's wild. I do. It does naturally lead me to wonder one more question on like the backstory. You said you went to Arizona State,
Mhm.
then you spent some time at NASA, working on these various projects. And I think you're at least like we met when you were in Arizona. I think you're still in Arizona.
I'm
Did you
in
work at
Arizona right now. Yeah.
did you work at is there NASA in Arizona? Did you like go
Oh,
somewhere like where did you go? Like walk me through like ASU to NASA back to Arizona. Is there a story there?
yeah, yeah. So I actually got my first exposure to NASA at ASU. So even though it's like not NASA proper at ASU, there are several NASA missions that are being run there, or like instruments on larger missions, right? So the one I worked on when I was an undergrad was called the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter Camera. It's 3 cameras that are actually on the LRO, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. It's still going around the moon now. And so as an undergraduate researcher, I got a job there, and it's a literally on campus, and there's like some Mars orbiter missions there. There's an asteroid mission that's based there. So like at ASU's campus, I got access to these live NASA missions, and got to work there as a student researcher. But then when I graduated, through the like my NASA connections, I was able to get a job at NASA JPL, which is out in LA, Pasadena area. And so I worked at JPL for like 3 years. I was at NASA total about 5.5 years. And then around that time, I wanted to actually like work on a PhD. So I came back to ASU to build out more of my skill set, because I still was thinking about Crow Industries, but and I wanted to do it, but I felt like I didn't have that, like you said, that technical skill set to have those chops of like knowing how to build a tech company from the tech side, right? And so that's kind of the journey there.
Yeah, love to hear that. Every founder's journey is like fascinating, especially when the mission and the vision is as wild and ambitious as yours. Which leads me
Thank you.
to ask, like, you can't, obviously you're not able to do this alone. Like, you need team members. I think what
Yeah.
prompted you to come onto the stream is you're, is expanding the team. So walk me through like. Who are you looking for when it comes to team members? Are you actively hiring now? How's it going on that front?
Yeah, absolutely. So even though they've got these big long-term space ambitions, what we do today is mostly defense focused, with also some mining focus there too. So our product, the one that's on the back of my shirt, is an unmanned ground vehicle that we use for battlefield operations. So think of a tracked little mini tank, like a mini robot that it's about, I don't know, 600 pounds or so, but it can carry up to like 500 pounds, right? So, and payload agnostic, so you can get equipment and supplies out to the front lines, get injured soldiers off the front lines. You can deploy any type of system, like drones, counter drones, technologies, all sorts of things. Right now we do everything very like teleops is primarily the like remote control is a big reason or big way that military likes to do things, but we are building out our own autonomy stack to do everything autonomously, so that we can eventually have one person controlling a swarm of hundreds of vehicles, literally. And so we're hiring robotic software engineers right now. I just did a post that what prompted this was I posted a job listing a couple days ago. We're hiring 2 people for that one job listing. And basically people who have experience in robots, but not just like robotic arms in a factory isn't quite the right fit. It's like robotic vehicles that have actually driven around and stuff like that. So, and then with that idea of not only do I want to build like a kick-ass robot, but I also wanted to build like make it autonomous, make it intelligent. So it's actually defining or like being able to carry out the intent of the controller, the person who's like telling it what to do, and then transfer that beyond defense into like mining operations and then space operations later.
That's you kind of have like this master plan. You kind of remind me a little bit of like Elon, where he's like, first we're gonna build this, then we're gonna do this, and then this, and then this, and that's the 4-step plan. Like you kind of sound like that, And when you're focused, it's easier to get something done, right? Versus like not knowing exactly what the plan is.
Yeah, well, I think like it was kind of a who said it was Jeff Bezos had a great quote. I can't remember exactly what he said, but I'm gonna butcher it. But he basically said you have to be laser focused on your long-term vision, but flexible in how you get there. And so, like, I know what I'm doing 50 years from now, and I know what I'm doing for the next 18 to 24 months. But between 24 months and 50 years is very like kind of hand wavies.
Totally. A couple more questions just on like maybe like work environment. If someone's like listening to this podcast or this show, I don't really know what to call it. This thing, and they're qualified, like they have this background and this skill set. What else should they know about working at Crow Industries? Like is it remote? Not remote? I'm guessing it's not remote based on like what you're doing. Like walk me through what it's like to work at your company.
Yeah, I mean, we would love to support remote, but since we work on hardware, it's very difficult to like you got to get hands on the robot, so it is in person. For software, our software team, usually they can get away with like a couple days remote, like hybrid kind of work from home. If they just have code to work on, but if they're actually like deploying on the robot, they need to be physically here. But in terms of like company culture, we like to say we're kind of we like to be laid back and joke around, but then like hyper serious and focused on the work, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's a very like it's a startup culture, so like requirements are constantly changing. Like I might tell you to do something today, and then tomorrow come back and say, "Hey, forget everything I just said yesterday. We're doing this now." Like that happens frequently because we're constantly responding to like customer requirements and stuff. So one example, we got a purchase order in from the Army Rangers a few weeks ago, which was super exciting. But then we're like, hey, these demos we were preparing for, drop that. We got to fulfill this order. And so like being able to be on your feet and be able to like change quickly is important, but also like understand why we're here. We're here for this longer, bigger vision, and so we're in it for the long haul too. So like we want to actually build out something incredible that's going to change humanity in a big way, and so it's balancing that together. And we also have a no asshole rule, so like that is just a hard no for us. So feel like pretty much everybody is pretty cool and chill, and that's usually sussed out in the interview process. Like we'll get sync back together after we've met with an applicant and just give like a thumbs up, thumbs down of like, and a lot of it is like, do they have the technical chops? Can they actually do the job? But then actually, do we think we liked hanging out with them too? Like those are a big two vetting like criteria. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think my one of my last, if not my last question, and this is maybe could be related to the role or just your own opinion. What do you know? You spent a lot of time in Arizona. You went to Arizona State. You're here now. What do you like about building in AZ? You know, what do you like about this wonderful state?
I mean, I'm an Arizona native. No, there's not a lot of us, but
Hey,
I'm
we got two natives on this call.
there we go. Let's go. So I just love Arizona. I do consider it my home state, and I don't know. I kind of grew up in the McCain era, that my maverick mentality of just like very much independent, be your own person. Like that's like Arizona's vibe, which I just love, and it's very hard to beat like 8 months out of the year. It's like perfect weather, so that's very nice, but we're also close enough to everything else that you can get to wherever you need to go. So like if I need to go to Austin or Silicon Valley or LA, those are all easy flights. East Coast is not too bad. So I just feel like it's the culture here is just like what I grew up with, so it's what I'm familiar with and what I love. Um, but it's like very different than like as exceptional as Silicon Valley is in terms of like tech and growth and all that stuff. Like I personally don't like Silicon Valley culture, and so I like Arizona in lieu of that. So
Totally. And you can always step in, like you said, when you want to Silicon Valley,
yeah,
2 hour flight. Then
it's
you
a 2 hour flight. It's
just like
easy.
fly back and you're back in paradise in Arizona.
So I often will do day trips where I will like go for a day and then come back and literally won't even bring a bag with me. I mean, I'll bring like a
Hmm.
backpack, but I'll have my laptop and stuff, and I won't even book a hotel because I can go there and back in the same day. It's great.
Totally. Cool. Well, final last question. Do you have any for either potential candidates or just anyone that is interested in what you're doing? Is there anywhere where people can learn more about what you're working on? You know, website, you know, social media presence. Where can people learn more?
Yeah, so the best way to get in front of us is crowindustriesinc.com, crowindustriesinc.com. That's our website. And then the job posting's up on there, so you can check that out. You can find me on LinkedIn, and then we have a company page on LinkedIn. I will admit it's not as active as it probably should be because we're mostly focused on grinding, but even though I have a job posting up for robotic software engineers, I am actively looking for like a social media person. So if you got social media folks who want to help us with our LinkedIn and X accounts, then that'd be super awesome.
Oh, I'd love to hear it. Well, thank you so much for coming on the stream. I'm excited to watch you build this vision and love to see it happen in Arizona. So thanks for coming on,
Awesome.
man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Cool. Bye.
See you.
All right. We got Nolan Selby on the stream. Nolan, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Sorry, just scarfing down some food.
Oh,
Doing
no
pretty good
worries.
though.
We have to eat. That is a human nature. Ironically, it's been an extremely busy day for me, and I have not eat. Literally not eaten yet, and it's been so busy that I don't even know if I'm hungry,
Yeah,
which is like
yeah,
so. But Lord knows I'm gonna have a hell of a dinner tonight.
absolutely. You got to.
Let's go into a little bit. Who are you, and what are you working on? Tell us a little more about your company.
Yeah, so obviously my name is Nolan. I go to Arizona State University, going to be my sophomore year, studying computer science, but working on a company named Voicero AI right now. So Voicero AI is a full customer service chatbot for e-commerce stores. So we basically, my experience in life has been in e-commerce since I was 14. I started my first online store. After building that out for a couple years, really learning it, learning what everything is, I realized my biggest issue along the way. I did have a successful exit with that, but I learned customer service was the biggest nagging problem dealing with emails, anything you can think of. So we built a chatbot that's able to successfully answer the questions and not just frustrate the consumer. I mean, that's a very high level overview of it. I can get more specifics, but that should give you a good idea.
Yeah, so let's say so I'll preface this with like I do not have a Shopify store, or I've never had one, so this might be like the wrong even question to ask, but let's just go down this path. Let's say I decide I want to sell, I don't know, AZTF news swag. And I spin up a Shopify store, and let's say this news station pops off, and a lot of people want to like buy the swag, and they have questions around anything related to buying the swag. Is what you're building allows me to not need to answer everything individually, but allows just this like little thing, this little AI to answer all the questions for me, and then I can train it and and whatnot. Is that in any capacity correct, or am I fairly far off?
No, you're not far off at all. That's effectively it precisely. So so it's when you go onto a website, most people have seen like a chatbot the website forces you to use. That's all it is. So when you first go onto a website that's Voicero's installed, it is a little icon in the bottom right hand corner that says "Need help shopping?" question mark, and then by clicking on that, it opens up the chatbot, which can answer all your questions, and it has back end features as well that's able to actually answer. If someone does want to submit a query, it's able to answer those as well.
So I think the way that I definitely know the way that we got connected was through Arizona State kind of pitch competition circuit. Um, how what has it been like building this? As I guess I guess you were a freshman last year if you're a sophomore now. What has it been like building this with at ASU? Have the resources been good? Anything like not great? Like what's your experience been as like a freshman at this university?
Yeah, I will contribute 90% of the success to ASU, and I wasn't one to go to college and go down the path. I kind of was almost forced into it after I took a gap year, but um, it's been phenomenal. The people I've met, the funding I've won, the funding is just the cherry on top. But if you really zoom out and look at the people I've met, the trip to San Francisco, affiliated by ASU, meeting all these investors and other founders, um, literally has contributed to 90% of why Voicero is where it's at. Without ASU, truthfully, we wouldn't be nearly where we are right now.
And like, what do you kind of like as a student? Like you're a student, like you study, and then you have this company that you build, and then there's some overlap, right? Where that like you're building and you're using resources with ASU, but then there's some non-overlap where like your customers are not students, they're not professors, they're actual real customers.
Mhm.
Is there like how much would you say of your building is like within the institution versus going out, and like do you have to I don't know, what's that like? Is it kind of nice where you have this like kind of friendly area where you can go and build and people know who you are and they're supportive versus going out into the arena and trying to win customers, and whatnot? Like what's that like, kind of being a student and a founder at the same time?
Yeah, it's definitely a task. I mean, I do study a rather hard major too with a minor in math, so I definitely have some time in school, but building it while in school, although takes up most of my life, is worth it because it is, like you said, it is nice to have the boundary. Like, yeah, I have people at ASU that are there to help me and kind of guide me in the right direction, but at some point you have to go out into the real world and figure things out.
Yeah, like come on AZTF News and talk about what you're building.
Exactly.
Roll, baby, let's go.
Exactly, and it's nice if I need something, I always have people to bounce back on at ASU if needed.
Yeah, I've had actually a handful of students on, and it's like it's interesting. It's evolved a lot from like a decade ago. You know, I graduated in 2016, and it's just like the infrastructure built up around it is kind of wild. So tell me more. Like, what do you spend your as you're building Voicero? What like keeps you up at night right now? Like, what's like the biggest problem that you're trying to solve with the company? Like growth, is it funding, trying to like hire?
Yeah. Um, I feel like my answer changes like every day, but at this moment in time, I think the overarching fact is probably customer acquisition. But I say that with a grain of salt because I'm not focused on it right now. And the reason I say that's my biggest issue is I kind of am seeing that's going to be an issue. Right now, we're really focused on testing. So, like, we launched today on our biggest site ever, our biggest customer ever. But there was a massive.
Wait, do you
Oh,
hear that in the back? Uh,
okay. Yeah.
Man, the crowd loves it. The crowd loves it.
Yeah, no, it was we had a giant bug come up during the launch. So we today my priorities are different, not customer acquisition, but overall customer acquisition and that realm of things, I think marketing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I is anyone that has a store. Well, okay, is it only Shopify, or can I use it if I have a website? Like, who else could use this? We'll start with that. Who is it? Just Shopify, or can it also outside the walls of Shopify?
Yes, outside the walls. So right now, this second, it's Shopify and WordPress. Soon, very soon, we'll be able to do custom, and custom is any website ever.
And
But
the idea there is like I even like let's say like aztfn.com, like I mean maybe this isn't a good example because this is like kind of a media thing. Let's just say we start selling swag on our own shop or whatever. I'll be able to install this AI and it answers questions. How does your current customers like train the data? Is there a training portion or does it just scrape like the website? How does the AI know what to say?
uh, trade secret, but
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
we
Do not expose trade secrets. Answer how you
we
want.
no, we built I like just a very high level, like the way that our AI functions is like we built an in-house method that is able to pull data, store data, and track data.
I believe that because you said your minor is a math. What's your major again?
Computer science.
So you're just like a total nerd in the best way. So
Exactly.
you're able to do that, and I'm able to believe it.
Yeah, we'll see how long the math minor lasts. I feel like my minor is becoming Voicero at this point. So
That's
we'll
funny.
see.
Yeah, that's great. Have you spent what has it been like crossing the chasm to like the real well, first of all, you're like a sophomore, so it's not like you're even expected to spend much time in the real world, to be honest. Like, right,
Mhm.
is like that you're a sophomore, but you're also a business owner. So what has your experience been trying to like network into the greater Phoenix scene or just the greater global business scene? Or has it been just more just digitally reaching out to folks to get customers for Voicero?
No, I feel like it's actually been pretty seamless. So I feel like I've had quite a few opportunities that have honestly sprouted from ASU people to meet the greater Phoenix area. For example, maybe 2 weeks ago, I was invited off of LinkedIn randomly to a mixer in Old Town, and through that, I met an alum of ASU who introduced me to a guy who introduced me to a VC who wants to invest. Like it's kind of crazy, just the evolution of everything. But it's honestly been pretty seamless. And you're right. I try to. It's a hard balance between like actual like focusing on school, focusing on the ASU network, and then focusing on the greater, I guess, life network. It's two separate things at this point, but so far so seamless.
Yeah, it's good to hear. I I think you'll hear from various folks, some folks that will have the opinion of like, oh, like you're building a company, drop out. But like, I'm a big proponent of like, don't drop out. Like maintain academic rigor. It's important. Like the company, I mean, of course, if it's when it's really successful in the future, that's great. But like having a degree, it matters. And and also it's not just about the degree. It's about like the people you meet over the next 3 years at ASU. You never know who you're going to get exposed to.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
100%.
totally.
The networking is worth it.
Yeah, networking is key. So what is there anything else, like anything that you're like, it sounds like you're looking for customers and you're marketing. Is there any, if you had a billboard for every user or every viewer that was listening to this live stream, probably like 17 million people right now. What would do you have an ask for the community? Is there something that you would ask for, whether it's like a certain type of advice, customers, funding, like what do you need now from this community? Put it on the billboard. We'll write it up and we'll share it out. How can we help?
Yeah, ASU's been I've been blessed to receive enough funding to that to be my priority. My biggest priority is customers. So anybody out there that knows anyone that runs a e-commerce store on Shopify, WordPress, Squarespace, you name it, or if you do yourself, you run a store in that manner, we'd love to have a conversation, explain exactly what we'll do and how Voicero is going to work for you, and go that way. So yeah, anyone that is in the realm of e-commerce, love to have a conversation.
All right, let's go. And if someone wants to learn more about what you're doing or connect with you online, what's your website? Where's your social media focused on? How can they learn more?
Yeah, Voicero.ai is the website. You can search it up. Connect with me personally, LinkedIn. I'm always active on LinkedIn. It's just my name. You can search up Nolan Selby. I'm happy to I'll always answer messages, connections, all that kind of stuff. So those two, happy to talk via those two.
Okay. And before we call it a day, any last words for the stream?
No, this is great what you're doing. I mean, this is cool, and I'm glad to see the AZ community, especially the other day at or ACBC. It's cool to see the Arizona startup community really growing, and this is super cool. Glad you're doing it.
No, I appreciate it. It's I've wanted to do media stuff for a while. It's just like Seed Scout, which was my last company, was not focused on Arizona. It was really focused on global. So a lot of my effort wasn't focused on it. But now I like have this. I mean, of course I have my job, but like outside of my job, I can just focus on Arizona, and it's a lot of fun. So I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah,
Well,
of course.
Well, Nolan, thanks for coming on. I am excited to watch you build a $1 trillion company right here in the state of Arizona, and I'll see you around. Thanks for coming on the stream.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, that's the show that we have today. We're keeping it short. I will see you all on Monday.